Yeah, I don't think Mother knew about this.
Uncle Marvin was strangled by his own beard.
Yeah, you never saw it coming. And hello, Genies, and welcome to America's Family History Show, Extreme Genes and ExtremeGenes.com. My name is Fisher. I am your radio root sleuth on the program where we shake your family tree and watch the nuts fall out. And this episode is brought to you by BYU TV's Relative Race. Season 5 is happening right now. And in fact, I'm going to be talking later on in the show to Keith from Team Green about his experience in the program. And of course, you can catch it every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. And this weekend, it is day 5 they're going to feature. And it's been an emotional season. But we'll get into that a little bit later on as we talk to Keith. Also today, we're going to talk to Saroo Brierley. He was a keynote speaker at Roots Tech in Salt Lake City, Utah back in, I guess it was the last day of February, first day of March, somewhere in there. He is the guy, of course, that you may have seen featured in the movie Lion. Separated from his family on a train in India, wound up adopted in Australia, and eventually by using Google Satellite was able to identify his hometown from what he remembered, went back and found his family. It's an amazing story, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy hearing from Saroo Brierley later on in the show. But right now it's time to check in with my good friend, David Allen Lambert. He is the chief genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society and AmericanAncestors.org. Hello, David. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm back from the nation's capital, and one of my news stories I'll tell you later for Family History News kind of ties into D.C. So let's start out in Newmarket, Tennessee, where the Highlander Center, which is known for its great resources in civil rights, has been lost. There was a fire in March that took out this building, which had a large collection of civil rights speeches, artifacts, and memorabilia. Oh. And it's a terrible loss, Fish. This is some place where Reverend Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and Ella Roosevelt were at workshops and training sessions that helped with the civil rights movement, and countless things have been lost, and I'm not sure how much has been digitized, but anytime we lose an archives like this, we lose a part of the nation's history.
Boy, and you really hit it on the head there. We really need to get things digitized, not only on a level with archives, but with our own stuff.
Well, and it's true. I think even your own family archives is so valuable. Mitch Goldstone hit it with digitizing family photos. I mean, you just never know when disaster is going to strike.
Yep, exactly.
Well, my next story really kind of ties in with the mythical figure of Sherlock Holmes. Fingerprints would have been something he would have used when working in Scotland Yard, but are now fingerprints not as reliable as, say, DNA, which is our internal fingerprint, if you will. A great story, Fish, that you put up there on Extreme Genes, I think really touches on how law enforcement and as well as genealogists have been using DNA to identify people from the past or solving crimes that they have done recently with the Golden State Killer.
Well, this is interesting because they talk about some of the challenges in actually creating a standard for fingerprints to be useful in crime. And there have actually been convictions thrown out because of mismatches of fingerprints. And now they're questioning whether DNA might turn out to be the same kind of thing eventually.
It just goes to show you that technology keeps on improving decade by decade, and what we're getting now is a lot more science behind it. And, you know, it's kind of hard to fake your DNA.
Exactly.
Speaking of DNA, FamilyTreeDNA out of Houston, Texas, you may have used this company when testing your Y or your mitochondrial DNA, and the big test was the big Y500. Well, wait, folks, it's no longer available because now they have the big Y700. This test is intended for their expert users to use advanced tools in Y-DNA, and it will analyze over 100,000 SNPs in your DNA and up to about 700 short tandem repeats. These are all ways of finding how closely you are related to your Y-DNA matches.
Wow.
I'm sure a lot of people took advantage of the sale that they have, but now if you've never done it before, you can get in at the low, low price of $649.
Woo. Wow.
Yeah. But, hey, listen, if it can help you find where your family comes from an island, to me, that's priceless. So on March 29th, the president signed into law Vietnam War Veterans Day. Now, March 29th historically was the end of the Vietnam War of 1973. And there were thousands of people that went to the Vietnam War Memorial. I happened to be in D.C. last week, and I only stayed about 2.5 blocks from it. So that evening, after I got done working, I walked over, and there were many, many bouquets, many, many remembrances, photos, candles lit, and it was really touching. Well, that night I took some of the pictures, put them on my Twitter account, DL Genealogist, and I got an idea. Does anybody have anybody on the wall they never have been able to visit? I'll pay respects and do a rubbing. Well, I had 2 people respond, Fish, and that was great. But catch this. One of the ones that responded was Jim Lambert of Brooklyn, New York. Well, Jim Lambert is my DNA cousin. In fact, with Y DNA, out of 111 markers, we share 100. Doesn't sound like we're kissing cousins.
No.
Because our most recent ancestor lived 20 generations ago.
Oh,
but we have
okay.
the same last name, same country of origin. Well, Jim asked me to do a favor. I went out and found his cousin, Dennis Michael Lambert. He died in 1969 in Vietnam. Now I have a family connection to the Vietnam Wall. Even though it's many generations ago, we have the same Y DNA. So when I go to the wall now, it's personal.
Yeah, absolutely. Good stuff, David.
Well, the 400th anniversary of the Mayflower arriving in Plymouth, Massachusetts is fast approaching. We're less than a year away now, and the celebrations are already gearing up. In fact, today I'm lecturing to executives from KLM Airlines and the ambassador to the Netherlands from the United States. But the celebrations going on in England, all over America, as well as Plymouth, and the New England Historic Genealogical Society is a proud sponsor of these events and to be taking part in the celebration.
And what's fun about this is there are so many events happening starting this year, and the Boston Globe recently published them, and we've linked to it at extremegenes.com. So if you're looking to participate, that's a great place to go.
All right. Well, don't forget, if you're not a member of American Ancestors, the New England Historic Genealogical Society would welcome you to become a member, and you could save $20 on membership by using the coupon code EXTREME on AmericanAncestors.org.
All right. Thank you so much, David. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a great talk today.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And coming up next, we're going to talk to a man who I discovered in my DNA matches, and I had no idea who he was. It didn't make sense. And we'll explain the whole thing coming up next in 3 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show.
RootsTech 2019 may be over, but the Family History Fun doesn't have to end. Visit rootstech.org to view recorded content from the event. Rewatch the inspiring keynote addresses from celebrity speakers Patricia Heaton, Saroo Brierley, and Jake Shimabukuro. A number of classes are also available to view for free from popular genealogists such as Miko Cleland, Diane Southard, and Valerie Elkins. Want access to even more content from RootsTech? Purchase the virtual pass and get access to 18 recorded conference sessions. Watch playbacks from any device from the comfort of your own home. Enjoy exclusive content from popular presenters like Kenyatta Berry, D. Joshua Taylor, and Lisa Louise Cook. Purchase your all-access virtual pass at rootstech.org for only $129. RootsTech 2019 may be over, but it lives on through the RootsTech Virtual Pass. Download yours today. Visit rootstech.org to learn more.
Hi, Genies. It is Fisher, and you may recall at the beginning of this season for Relative Race on BYU TV, host Dan Debenham said this might be the best season they've ever had. Now, you might expect the host of the show to say that in every season. Well, I'm here to tell you, I think he's right. This season, the best ever. In fact, if you watch this last episode, you'll see that Team Red and Maria did it again, made everybody cry, including the other teams at the end of the show. Yeah, as Maria has not only now met her mother, but also her father. If you haven't seen this season yet, you've got to get caught up. You can stream it with the BYU TV app. You can watch it on BYUtv.org. And of course, we've got another episode coming up Sunday night at 9 Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Pacific on BYU TV. You're not going to want to miss it. It's entertaining, it's emotional, and it's made for people like us. It's BYU TV's Relative Race Season 5, Day 5, coming up this weekend.
Legacy Tree Genealogist is a proud sponsor of Extreme Genes. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, near the world's largest family history library, we've worked with genealogists all over the globe since 2004 to track down records, find your ancestors, and the stories that bring your legacy to life. We also analyze DNA test results, help you join lineage societies, and find missing cousins. Legacy Tree is the recommended research partner of MyHeritage.com and is the world's highest client-rated genealogy firm. Call us toll-free at 1-800-818-1476 or register online to get a free estimate. Right now, you can save up to $100 on professional genealogy research. But hurry, this offer expires at the end of the month. Even experienced researchers can benefit from our proven and experienced staff of specialists who can bring new approaches to old problems. Learn from our free genealogy tips on our blog at legacytree.com/blog. Legacy Tree Genealogists. We do the research. You enjoy the discoveries.
And welcome back to America's Family History Show, Extreme Genes and ExtremeGenes.com. It is Fisher here, your radio root sleuth, and this segment is brought to you by Legacy Tree Genealogists. You know, many years ago when I first started doing my research, and long before DNA came along, I started doing databases of people who descended from my common ancestors, going back to my first greats, my second greats, sometimes even my third. And my wife would say to me, "Why are you doing that? Why don't you just focus on your direct lines and all that? Why are you spending all this time on that?" And I said, I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting to get a perspective from the ancestors, say, had they lived to be 150 years old, to see what all the descendants did. And in fact, it turned into an interesting technique by going back and pulling forward. I found all kinds of information about the family in the hands of these various descendants. So it turned into a technique that was very practical as well as being very interesting. So I've had these databases, and now with DNA, when it comes along, if I find a match, I can typically figure out who that person is, where they match from, what lines they come through. So back in February, I was getting ready to go on a trip to Mexico, and I was due to fly out the next day, and I got a sudden match for a second cousin. Now, as you probably realize, in DNA and in the family history research world, second cousin is pretty close. And it was a very high confidence level. So I pushed on the button for shared matches and found that all the matches we shared were descendants of my father's mother's parents, the Waldron family. And so I thought, I don't recognize this name. Who is this person? And I went through my database and thought, yeah, there's nobody here that fits the bill. So I reached out and said, hey, I have this list of descendants, and I know that you're a descendant of this couple. Who are you? And the response I got back was, I can't tell you. I was adopted. Can you help me? And that man named Loren Smith is on the line with me right now. And Loren, it was really quite a fun day that day, wasn't it?
It was a great day. It was an absolutely great day for me. Thank you, Scott. A world opened up.
Well, it was fun for me, obviously, because I was prepared for something like this, because I did have this database. And I wanted to have this discussion with you, not so much from saying, oh, look at all we were able to accomplish, but to talk about it from your perspective of what was going on in your life, and also how it affected me that day, because there was a lot that we did together, and of course we've never met. So this was a really interesting experience. Let's start with you. Your story is you were adopted.
Correct. I was adopted in 1953. It was a closed adoption, so I was unable to access any of those records.
Yeah, and you were born in Brooklyn, which means you're in New York, where they've had those closed records laws forever. Now, hopefully they're going to be correcting that this year in the state legislature, but it really meant you had absolutely no clue where to look.
Exactly. I had no idea. My parents had said, you know, you were English, and that's pretty much all I knew. I didn't know my parents' name or anything. I knew a little bit, and that was all.
This really bothered me, too, because I was going to be leaving the next day. I'm packing. I'm trying to wrap up. I'm trying to get all my Extreme Genes things done and everything else to shut down the house and take off for 10 days. And suddenly here's this match, and it's like, oh, my gosh, I can't leave this guy hanging for a week and a half. And so we were able to go to town and figure this out. And you were trusting enough when I asked you to let me see your DNA stuff. Now, this is kind of an interesting question a lot of people get when they're asked to share their DNA. Is this somebody I want to share it with? Of course, you didn't know me from Adam, and I didn't know you either. But You said yes, and off we went. Why is it you felt that you could trust me to look at this material and have access to that?
Good question. Because, Scott, I was so in the dark for 65 years, and I could just tell in your voice, that you were genuine and sincere. I just felt it.
And we were a match. I mean, so it wasn't just, we weren't random people, right?
Exactly. We weren't just random people. We were family. DNA proved that. And I was new. I mean, I really, when I first did this, I couldn't have imagined that it would have happened so quickly and so thoroughly. And when you called me, I was like, wow. I saw the matches, but I wasn't ready for it. But I said, let's go with it, because I had been waiting 65 years for answers. And you came out and said, hey, let's explore this. You're a cousin. Where did you come from? All of a sudden you popped up. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that's what I wanted. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted.
Which is why you did the test, right? I mean, you were encouraged by your kids, as I understand it.
Exactly. My kids were saying this summer, do it. Just go do it. And I did, and have been overjoyed at the results.
And it's so much fun to do this. And the reason we bring this up is because there are going to be people like you, Loren, who come along and they're going to connect with somebody and they don't know quite what to do. And there are going to be people like me who may receive an unexpected relative showing up among the matches and have to decide, well, how do I help this person? Do they want to be helped? Right? And we have to kind of make decisions along these lines because you really have no idea. But that was the advantage of having that descendants database. I mean, I knew that you weren't on the list. It's just not that far back. And it's like, wait a minute, who is this guy? And so just to summarize what happened that day very quickly is you, Loren, saw a DNA match that was very high, and you said it was a first cousin. Right.
Well, that's what they had said in Ancestry. They called it a first cousin.
They called up to a first cousin match, but when we looked at the number of centimorgans that you shared with this person, it was like, oh no, that is a half sister,
which blew my mind. Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt you, but when you said that to me, I was like, half sister, you blew my mind. I was like, this has gone now into the stratosphere, well beyond what I had ever thought or ever dreamed was possible. It's just been an exciting journey.
And what was fun was she had her family tree up and attached to her DNA. The mother's side was Midwest, and her father's side was from Panama.
Yes.
And as it turned out, your matches that did not tend to match to my side or to this branch of my family tended to come from Panama, which told us you'd found your birth father right there.
Right.
And what was fun about it was that there was such a clean separation. There wasn't, a couple of people from the same area with the same background. There's the Panama side, and then there was our side.
Right.
And so then it was just a question of figuring out, okay, which side did who come from? And when we figured out, okay, the birth father is the person from Panama because of the matches there, that meant that your match to me came from your birth mother's side. And because of the matches that you shared with my grandmother's sister-in-law, we were able to identify, okay, these were your grandparents. They had 4 daughters. And because of the fact that the one daughter happened to work in New York, in the Brooklyn area, for the airlines, just like your birth father did at the same time, and then eliminating some of the other sisters for other reasons, we were able to determine who your birth mother actually was within the same day.
And what really blew me away was that William Artie Waldron, my grandfather, was a policeman in a town which is the county seat of my county and is really only 4 or 5 miles from my home.
In New Jersey, yeah.
In New Jersey.
But what was amazing to me is when I first saw your picture come up, I'm recognizing my great uncle, Bill Waldron. I'm going, wait a minute, this guy, I'm certain he has to come through this line. And then the DNA validated it because you also descended from the family of his wife, so that made it really simple. So, Loren, it was a great day, obviously, but I think the lesson for both of us is, for people who are researching and have their information out there to be ready to jump in and help when the opportunity comes and have that descendant information available. And then from your side, it's, I guess, would be to say, hey, allow people to be part of it and get involved because you don't have enough answers to do it yourself.
Well, exactly, Scott. And for me, it was enlarging the circle. It was enlarging the circle that I knew was there for 65 years, but I didn't know it. So for me, meeting you was the first step in enlarging the circle and trusting the process.
That's right.
I'm new to this, so I had no knowledge. I mean, I knew the centimorgans were a measurement, but I didn't realize until you and I started talking what that meant. It was an eye-opening experience, it's been a real experience.
And it was so fun when I heard that you actually made a connection with your half-sister, and she's really invited you into her life in Miami, Florida. How cool is that?
That is great. I just was chatting with her online about 2 hours ago.
Wow.
So we stayed in touch. We're in contact. And it's a very warm and friendly relationship we're developing, and I'm overjoyed. And again, the circle just enlarges even more.
Yeah.
From you to Susanna, and Susanna's other half, my other half-sister, Christina, and her son and daughter I've gotten friendly with. And I'm so happy that the circle is enlarging, that I'm finding family that I didn't know I had.
And this is all in addition to your adopted family that hasn't lost an ounce of love as a result of it.
Not at all. It's all good. They're all very supportive. My family's very supportive of it.
Well, I think it's been a joy for both of us, and an awful lot of fun, too, to put together the puzzle pieces. And hopefully that legislation in New York will pass this session so that you can get access to your original birth certificate coming up next January.
Yeah, the governor in New York says he wants to do it. And it's been in front of the legislature for a year now, and I think this year could be a good year.
That would be awesome.
They will open up certain records on closed adoptions for folks.
He's Loren Smith from New Jersey. He's my second cousin, who I didn't know till just a couple of months ago. Loren, thanks for your time. It's been great to get to know you, and I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can develop on your family history.
Thanks, Scott. I would too. I'm looking forward to doing more research.
And coming up, it's a man they made a movie about, Saroo Brierley. If you've seen the flick Lion, you'll know you're going to want to hear what the interview is next. Coming up in 5 minutes on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show.
Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chartmasters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartmasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chartmasters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chartmasters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chartmasters today at FamilyChartmasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chartmasters will give the greatest care to your family history. Scientific studies have proven that youth who know even a little bit about their family history perform better academically and have a greater sense of personal confidence and stability. Genealogy is its own incredible superpower that arms our children with super strength. But how do you get your child or grandchild interested in studying their family history? That kind of stuff is just for grandmas, right? Not anymore. ZapTheGrandmaGap.com leaps the generation gap in a single bound. Author Janet Havorka provides you with useful and timely advice on helping the young people in your life become engaged in their own family history. Janet has an entire collection of books to inspire the young and the young at heart in fun, interactive ways. She also offers creative tips and advice on her blog and in her free weekly newsletter. Stop by ZapTheGrandmaGap.com today to sign up for Janet's free email newsletter with 52 weeks of easy tips, free downloads, and order your set of resource books and workbooks.
Hey, welcome back to Extreme Genes. It is Fisher here. And at Roots Tech this year in Salt Lake City, Utah, Saroo Brierley was one of the keynote speakers. He was that young boy from India who got on a train at 5 years old and never saw his family again. He was adopted out to Australia and then eventually, using Google Satellite, located his hometown from memory and reconnected with his family. It was the basis for the movie Lion. Here's my interview with Saroo Brierley.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you at Roots Tech and having to hear your story from you firsthand. First of all, what did you think of the actor that played you?
Amazing. Dev Patel you're talking about.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, they were going to choose Wesley Snipes to embody me, but I'm really happy and glad that it was Dev Patel, because he did an amazing job. And I don't think there's a better person out there that could have enacted myself.
Well, there's a lot to capture in you because you have multiple backgrounds that you have to embody. And what did your parents think, your adoptive parents, when they saw the film? Were they pleased with it?
They were extremely happy. My mum, played by Nicole Kidman, she was wrapped and over the moon. And Dad was played by an Australian actor, David Wenham. And I think the balance between all those actors was just perfect.
Yeah.
And the timing, screen time, with those actors were perfect as well. And that's something that I don't know much about, but everyone did a great job. Kudos to everyone.
Yeah, and you were happy with that.
And case to the point, everyone loved it.
And there's not really much exaggeration they had to do to make this film more Hollywood, was there? I mean,
definitely not.
It was just an incredible miracle that you were able to pull this off.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. The thing about it is that I've never seen a movie, especially the trailer when I see it, that raises the hair on your arms as much as Lion. I'm not trying to burst my bubble here, but I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart. It's like, wow.
Well, you think every human being on Earth has a journey, and journeys have different directions and bumps in the road and all this. And for many people here at Roots Tech, it might be trying to find birth families, or to connect with earlier ancestors where they're stuck, to learn their story, which is part of their own story. I mean, I don't think I've ever run into a story quite like yours. There isn't anything like it.
It's a very colorful journey.
Well, you made mention in your speech that, you're hoping maybe to help somebody in your same situation. I'm thinking, how many people could there be like that? Have you ever run into somebody who physically got separated from their family, raised somewhere else, and as a result of your story, was inspired to go and find them?
There was actually a story in China where a girl, at the age, I think about 7 or 8, was kidnapped. And she was taken to a family, which was kilometres away from where she was originally. And she saw my story, and she used my story to help herself finding her own family. And it was in the papers, in the media in China. And that's a good example amongst thousands of others out there. And sometimes, you don't really hear of them because
they're all over the place.
They're all over. The story's there to help people and to encourage. And what you do with it is up to you. You don't need to call me, you don't need to send me a message. It's simply there to help yourself and take advantage.
But I bet you when you hear a story like that, it's got to be enormously satisfying to you.
It's definitely
in your decision to go public with
this. Of course. It's good to hear that. It shows that people are using my story for the intentions as I originally at inception wanted it to be.
Yes.
And why would you not?
So we've all become familiar with your story of getting on the train as a 5-year-old. Your brother apparently died the night you were separated, yes?
Yes, correct.
Which had to be tough for you to learn when you got back with your family. Are you still in touch with them?
Yes, definitely.
You see them often?
Yeah, I do. Look, at least twice a year.
Okay.
And one of the things that I did was buy my mum a house, which was something that we could have ever done. And she's absolutely wrapped. But I do talk to my mum at least once or twice a month, and she does all the talking. And there's been 25 years of separation, and there's 25 years of catching up, and a lot to talk about. So it's a gradual process, but going back to India, it's my heritage.
Right.
It's an amazing place. There's never a dull moment there. In addition to that, seeing my mum, she's an amazing, poetically, eloquently spoken woman. I think I have a bit of her characteristics as well. But she's so fit and she can run rings around me. But at the end of the day, I love seeing her and I wish one day I can bring her over to Australia.
When you arrived in the village, you talked about instinctively knowing the way home. And as I recall, when you got home, she wasn't at that home anymore. She had moved, is that right? Am I remembering that correctly?
Correct.
She was a little further down. Was she aware that you were in town?
No. It was, I went from the Metropolitan where I came in the cab, and then my legs sort of did what they did to out in suburbia where I was born. And all of a sudden, word spread like wildfire that there is this foreigner wearing Asics shoes, Adidas pants with the Firebird stripes on the side, and a Saucony sort of top and a little bag on the side. And he's going around looking for this particular lady. And before you know it, the whole village knew.
Before you even got there?
Before I got to the door of where I was born. Wow. And so it was, I think, a unique moment for my hometown that there's a foreigner, but he's not a foreigner. He was born here. So such a pivotal moment, all that, and so euphoric as well.
What was the response of your friends who discouraged you? Because you'd worked so hard on this, you weren't getting anywhere. I mean, India's a monstrous-sized country.
It is from, 350,000 cities to 8,000 train stations.
But they're saying, give it up. I mean, you're here now, and the future is ahead.
Yeah.
And obviously, when you had that success, were they elated for you? Or were they like, oh boy, now we got the next phase of this? What was their response?
I think they were quite elated. And you know what? You don't have to let other people make your mind up, because you've got a brain yourself.
Sure.
And you should follow your heart, your dreams, and your thoughts. Friends are there just to help you, because, they sort of feel that you're a bit of dire straits and not sleeping well, and they just want to comfort you by saying, hey, well, why don't you just give that up? Because we want to see you happy. But you've got your own journey.
Right.
And my journey was that I had to find closure, which is something that I sort of never really talked about much to my friends. It was quite personal. And you know what? My friends now, they're just, like you said, they're extremely elated. And they sort of commend me for what I have done.
What is your life like now?
Busy. Extremely.
What were you doing before you were doing all the speaking? What was your career?
I was working from a family business, my adoptive family business, which is to do with hose and fittings and hydraulics and marine sales, retail.
And now?
And now I'm doing a lot of keynote speaking to corporate companies, majority of the time. Traveling to sort of domestic Australia, to heaps in the US, which is amazing. And also, in the UK as well. So that's sort of my life at the moment. Spreading the word out there, almost feeling like the prophet. That you've got to tell this story to the world to make people believe.
Exactly. You've been given that gift, haven't you?
Well, I'm very sort of proud to be out there and spreading the word out there, because, we all need to be uplifted in a time where there's so much negativity.
Absolutely. The draw of family, it's universal.
It is, definitely.
And it's so strong.
Yes. When it comes to family, you should never give up.
Well, Saroo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
What an incredible story, and thanks for sharing it with the world and inspiring so many people who may be looking for something different than you were, but still something just as compelling.
Definitely.
Wow. What a treat. And coming up next, we're going to talk to Keith from Team Green from Relative Race on BYU TV. It's season 5 going on right now, and you're going to want to hear what he has to say about his most emotional moments in 3 minutes.
Legacy Tree Genealogist is a proud sponsor of Extreme Genes. Based in Salt Lake City, Utah, near the world's largest family history library, we've worked with genealogists all over the globe since 2004 to track down records, find your ancestors, and the stories that bring your legacy to life. We also analyze DNA test results, help you join lineage societies, and find missing cousins. Legacy Tree is the recommended research partner of MyHeritage.com and is the world's highest client-rated genealogy firm. Call us toll-free at 1-800-818-1476 or register online to get a free estimate. Right now, you can save up to $100 on professional genealogy research. But hurry, this offer expires at the end of the month. Even experienced researchers can benefit from our proven and experienced staff of specialists who can bring new approaches to old problems. Learn from our free genealogy tips on our blog at legacytree.com/blog. Legacy Tree Genealogists. We do the research. You enjoy the discoveries.
Roots Tech 2019 may be over, but the Family History Fun doesn't have to end. Visit rootstech.org to view recorded content from the event. Rewatch the inspiring keynote addresses from celebrity speakers Patricia Heaton, Saroo Brierley, and Jake Shimabukuro. A number of classes are also available to view for free from popular genealogists such as Miko Cleland, Diane Southard, and Valerie Elkins. Want access to even more content from Roots Tech? Purchase the virtual pass and get access to 18 recorded conference sessions. Watch playbacks from any device from the comfort of your own home. Enjoy exclusive content from popular presenters like Kenyatta Berry, D. Joshua Taylor, and Lisa Louise Cook. Purchase your all-access virtual pass at rootstech.org for only $129. Roots Tech 2019 may be over, but it lives on through the Roots Tech Virtual Pass. Download yours today. Visit rootstech.org to learn more.
Hey, Genies, Fisher here with a shout out to our Patrons Club members at patreon.com/Extreme Genes. This is where friends of the show support Extreme Genes for as little as $1 a month, all the way up to the cost of a very nice burger each month. I mean, a really juicy one. You can support the show and enjoy various special Patrons Club member benefits, such as acknowledgement on extremegenes.com, special bonus podcasts from expert guests like Maureen Taylor, the photo detective, CC Moore, your genetic genealogist, great storytellers and experts on record sets from all over the world. We even offer expert advice on specific questions challenging your research. So go to patreon.com/extremegenes and get signed up. We love sharing your genealogical journey with you on our Extreme Genes Patrons Club. After all, what would you rather have? Inspiring and informative content or another greasy burger? The choice is yours. And thanks for supporting Extreme Genes. And we are back. It's America's Family History Show, Extreme Genes and extremegenes.com. It is Fisher here, your radio root sleuth. And of course, we're right in the middle of season 5 of Relative Race from BYU TV, Sunday nights, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. And I got to tell you, this has been a season, an emotional one. And right now, on the line with me from Los Angeles, from Team Green, it is Keith. How are you, Keith?
Hey, I'm good, Scott. How are you?
You know, I'm doing great, and it's been really fun to watch you and your brother Marcus, both of you from L.A. We were talking earlier as you were taking your son off to school, and you were talking about nicknames your grandmother had for you. What were some of those?
Oh, yeah. Well, growing up, my childhood name my mother gave to me was Looky Loo, because they said when I came home, all they can remember is just this big-eyed baby who would just be looking around, you know, observing everything, just real nosy, a real nosy child, always into things. So they called me Looky Loo.
Oh, that's fun.
My grandmother, because I did gymnastics growing up, called me Grasshopper because I would always be flipping around the yard in the grass.
Doing flips.
So that was another nickname, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had a close family, and that's certainly shown in the show. Through these first 4 episodes, what has been the most emotional moment for you?
For me, I would say my brother finding his dad, because that was really the main goal from, if anybody can remember, you know, us saying he would love to find his dad. So for me, honestly, I would want to say my brother finding his dad was the most emotional part for me.
And for those who don't know, Marcus is your half-brother. You share a mom. And in the very first episode, because you guys are from L.A., really no need to have a driver's license, they found Marcus's dad to drive you around, which had to be crazy that first day.
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise, a shocker that came to both of us. We never expected that. Now, the driver was a twist. Now, for the driver to be his dad also, that was even more crazy.
And how's Marcus doing with that now? I mean, obviously the shooting for all this is done, and I'm assuming that they're still very much in touch.
Oh, definitely. I believe he's out there right now with his dad, more likely enjoying seasons of the show, the first few episodes that we watched. I've seen him actually post it and show me videos of him watching it at home. So I'm sure they're definitely enjoying their time together.
How fun. That's awesome. So how did you guys choose to get on this show?
Well, seeing that my brother, he's a performer. He's with LA Casting, the casting agency out here in Los Angeles. He was looking for some gigs, you know, just to perform, make some money and stuff like that. And he came across Relative Race. He saw that they put something up saying that they were looking for people who were looking for their blood family members or biological fathers. So he submitted his story, and I want to say less than 24 hours, we got a call back. They did the phone interview, and he was talking to him, asking him would he be interested in going to the show after, of course, getting his background and story of who he was, where he came from, a mother passing and things of that nature. He wanted to know if Marcus had any relatives who would be interested on going on the show with him to find family members. And I was right there, so, I mean, it was an easy call.
Wow. What fun. It's been a life-changing experience, obviously, for both of you guys. No matter what happens, obviously, we don't know who wins the $50,000 at the end, but it's fun to see the competition, and obviously a great bond between you guys and the rest of the teams, too.
Oh, it definitely is healthy competition. There's a lot of love between us and the other teams. We all actually got connected personally outside of, you know, us being in a competition. We're actually friends on Instagram and, you know, they talk and stuff like that. So we actually became friends with people that we were competitive with at one point in time.
He's Keith from Team Green on Relative Race on BYU TV. And Keith, you have a great day, and we look forward to seeing how the rest of the season works out.
Thank you. You do the same, Scott. I appreciate the call.
All right. And coming up next, Tom Perry, our preservation authority, talking about how to preserve your precious heirlooms on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show, in 3 minutes.
Looking for an easy way to show off your family history and share it with your family? Family Chartmasters offers beautiful custom pedigree art pieces and inexpensive family reunion draft charts in any design or size that fits your needs. With a free consultation at FamilyChartmasters.com, you can get started creating a new family masterpiece. Family Chartmasters has over 11 years of experience in creating and printing family charts. They can print any style of genealogy chart from any genealogy file and can create exactly what you're looking for. You'll work with a specialized and talented consultant whose goal is to make you happy. Decorative charts make fantastic gifts for all occasions. And with Family Chartmasters' option of ordering duplicate charts at half price along with your original purchase at full price, you can afford to give a family heirloom to each member of your family. Contact Family Chartmasters today at FamilyChartmasters.com for your free consultation. Family Chartmasters will give the greatest care to your family history.
When was the last time you heard your grandmother's voice or saw your family enjoying life back in the 1950s or 60s? If the reason is you haven't known what to do with your old recordings, videos, and films, here's your answer. The Multimedia Center in Salt Lake City.
We brought in a video project to the Multimedia Center, and overnight they duplicated it to DVD so we could meet our deadline.
The Multimedia Center, 2870 East, 3300 South, Salt Lake City. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Call 801-483-1717 or go to transferduplication.com.
Genies, it's Fisher with exciting news. The Weekly Genie, the official newsletter of Extreme Genes, is here. It's your Monday morning briefing on what's happening in the world of genealogy and family history and on Extreme Genes. Get all the details of jaw-dropping stories of discovery and keep up with the latest techniques in family history research. Get to know more about your favorite Extreme Genes personalities, and it's free. Sign up for the Weekly Genie now at extremegenes.com or the Extreme Genes Facebook page. And when you do, you'll receive David Allen Lambert's Top 10 Tips for Beginning Genealogists from the Chief Genealogist of the New England Historic Genealogical Society. Sign up today for the Weekly Genie. And it is time once again to talk preservation on Extreme Genes, America's Family History Show, and ExtremeGenes.com. I am Fisher. I am your radio root sleuth with the Preservation Authority, the one and only Tom Perry from TMCPlace.com. And Tom, we're going to talk about apps today because there's some new ones out that were not there when we started this show 6 years ago. And boy, is it going to save a lot of people a lot of money when it comes to restoring old photographs. What do you got?
Oh, it's just amazing through apps and different programs you can buy on your computer. It's absolutely incredible, the algorithms that they have created. In the old days, somebody used to have to bring a photo to us. For an example, there was a funeral coming up, and the best photo of Mom that you wanted to use in the obituary had John, one of her sons, standing next to her because it was taken at his wedding. And so he's kind of in the photo, his arm's over her shoulder in the photo, and it just wouldn't look good. So they bring it to us, we take out John, we take out his arm, we rebuild her shoulder. We're rushed to do it in a week in time for the funeral, and it can cost several $100s. Now with these new apps and this new software, you can do it at home yourself. A lot of them even have auto mode where you click auto and it goes and figures out what you want. For instance, one that's really cool is everybody has an old photo from the 50s that has Aunt Martha or Grandma Edna in it, and there's a telephone pole growing right out of her head, and you need to remove it. Not her head, but the telephone pole.
Right.
And with this app, all you do is trace over the pole, push automatic, boom, it's gone. It takes the background and clones what it thinks it should have been there. And if it's not perfect, you can go in and touch it up yourself. But it's amazing how accurate they are.
You know, I've seen ads on this all over the place. For instance, if there are a group of people out on a beach and you want to take everybody out except one person, it'll take care of that. And suddenly the ocean looks just absolutely normal. And it's an incredible algorithm.
And it makes it look like you're on the beach all by yourself, or you have this beautiful photo of you. You take the background out, and all of a sudden, hey, there's the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Oh, there's the Taj Mahal all in the background behind you.
Yeah, exactly. You can do whatever you want. So how much are these apps, and what are the names of some of them?
One of them, you can go into the App Store or the Google App Store and just type in damaged photo. And the program's easy. It's called Damaged Photo Restore and Repair, and it's only $8.99.
Yeah, and it's that good, huh?
Oh, it's pretty amazing. If you want to get into the really detailed stuff, you need to go into one program, which I absolutely love, and this is going to be something we've talked about for years. Wondershare now has a partnership with an operator that makes software. It's called Visime, V-I-S-M-E, and it's absolutely incredible. PhotoFire is the actual name of it. And if you want to go to it, you have to go to photo.wondershare.com. It's not on Wondershare's normal page, and you can try it out for free. Then if you decide you want to buy it, you can get a year subscription for like $100, or you can get a permanent subscription for a little bit more than that.
You know, it's funny you mentioned this. Back in the 1980s, when my wife and I were first starting to get involved in family history, we obtained a photograph of her great-grandparents from Holland and all of their kids, and there was all kinds of problems with it. There were pieces of face that had lines through it, and we actually had to have an artist take a photograph of it and then physically correct the photograph, and it cost us about $200 to fix that picture. And I'm thinking, wow, what a long way we've come from that kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. It was paint and a brush what they did. I've seen exactly what they do. And then when Photoshop came along, which we both use, it's absolutely wonderful. But like this app that's only $9, you can go in, draw over where all the cracks are, and boom, the cracks are gone. It's just absolutely incredible what you can do for $9 on an app.
All right, Tom, great stuff as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
My pleasure.
Hey, that's all we got this week. If you missed any of it, of course, catch the podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and ExtremeGenes.com. By the way, catch our top tips as well. We do them twice a week through those same places. And if you have a question that you might want to see us turn into a tip, just email us at tips@ExtremeGenes.com. Hey, and don't forget to sign up for our weekly Genie newsletter as well on our Facebook page and ExtremeGenes.com. Thanks for joining us, and remember, as far as everyone knows, we're a nice, normal family.